Day one of the 2023 Wimbledon Championships are done, and it was not good at all for the Blacks. Let's talk about it. Hi, my name is Christian Bassnight, and you're watching Grand Slam Tennis News Today. Five-time Wimbledon champion Venus Williams returned to center court for the first time in 6 years, playing wildcard, mother, and former top 5 player Elina Svitolina. Venus was an underdog in this match as she lost the last 6 sets that she played against Svitolina, but she came out the stronger of the two, breaking in the second game, and she was a point away from going up 3-love. However, when down a break point in that third game, Venus hyperextended her knee and fell down to the court screaming in pain. The way Venus screamed, I thought she was done. It reminded me of Maddox Sands' horrible knee injury that she sustained at Wimbledon a few years back. And then also reminded me of that injury that Serena Williams sustained against Alexandra Sasnovich 2 years ago at the 2021 championships, where she also slipped and injured her hamstring in that opening round match, and ultimately she had to withdraw. But unlike her little sis, Venus kept on playing, and after receiving a little bit of treatment, and she actually had a chance to get back into the match at 5-4 in the opening set, having 2 break points, but she could not take advantage. It was honestly just very, very hard to watch the rest of that Venus match, as she could hardly move out there on court. She still served fine, but just her movement was poor. All Elina really had to do was just drop shot her or hit the ball just a few feet away from her, and the point was pretty much lost for Venus. And then the way the match ended sucked too, with Svitolina challenging her return, which ultimately handed her the victory. Venus was pissed, and she didn't even shake the umpire's hand after the match, which I think was a little bit of bad form, because I think Maria Cicek made the right decision in awarding Svitolina the point, because even if that out call was not made, Venus was going to lose that point. But she says that in the press, she said that she felt that she was done dirty. I personally don't believe so, but it is what it is. I also wonder if Venus was thinking back to the last time that she played on center court, which was in the 2017 Wimbledon finals, where Muguruza challenged a ball that Venus hit out, and ultimately the challenge Hawkeye system overruled it in her favor, Muguruza's favor, which caused Venus to lose the championship. Maybe that was in her mind, and that probably added a little bit of fuel to the fire. I don't know. People were mad at Svitolina for even challenging that point, but I don't get that. Even if Venus is 43 years old, and people are like, oh, take it easy, this is her 24th Wimbledon and perhaps her last. No. She's still a competitor out there, and she wants to win. And if the ball was in, the ball was in. Why not challenge the call? Now, I do feel bad for Venus. I really feel for her, because she is such a talented player, and honestly, she should have won that match versus Svitolina, because like I just mentioned, she played exceptional tennis, and she was the better player before she ultimately fell and hurt her knee. Like it's been pretty much for the last 10, 15 years of her career, her body has failed her. I know Venus said before the tournament that she wants to play until she's 50 years old, but I think that's honestly a way too much of an ask with how many injuries that she suffered through just in the past few years alone. She literally talked about injuring her hamstring ligaments earlier in the year in her latest YouTube video that dropped today. So maybe Venus should just stick to doubles for her own good, as she wouldn't have to cover as much ground. When speaking about the match and her injury, Venus said, "I'm not sure what I've done. I'm going to have to investigate it tomorrow. It's late today, but it was quite painful." She continued to say, "Grass is inherently going to be slippery. You're going to fall at some point. It was just bad luck for me. I started the match perfectly. I was literally killing it. Then I got killed by the grass." Venus's niece, Coco Gauff, also bit the dust in the opening round, falling to compatriot and 2020 Australian Open champion Sofia Kenin 6-4, 4-6, 6-2. I'm honestly not surprised by this loss, because even though Sonia has not had the best results on grass, as in 2021, she hit, I believe, 41 unforced errors in her second round loss at Wimbledon versus Madison Brangle, and that was a 45-minute loss, and I think that was the most the highest unforced error rate in history since the IBM started tracking that. So yeah, definitely she didn't have a strong grass court pedigree, but coming into this match, she had a lot of confidence coming through Wimbledon qualifier, not dropping a single set. She was actually the only American, male or female, out of 20 who entered the qualifying who came through and made it into the main draw. I was honestly just surprised just by how strong Kenin played. I was expecting possibly Coco to take in a tough 2-set match or even drop like an opening set or so, but she came out playing outstanding tennis. She broke Coco very early on, and really one of the main things that stood out to me was Sonia's excellent serving. Even though Coco has the bigger serve, Kenin outserved her. She hit 76% of first serves, and she won 68% of points off the first serve, and then even higher, 76% of second serve points. It's also surprising to me that Kenin was able to win 88% of net points, while Gauff, who was an excellent doubles player, earned just 50% of points up at net. Kenin also did well to pick on the weaker Gauff forehand, and Coco, she did do well to hit harder, and she tried to go and commit for that shot more, and at times it was successful for her, but she's simply just not used to committing to that shot with great pace consistently, which is ultimately what hurt her in the end, and that's the biggest issue that she's facing right now. Coco really did not play badly. I think she played a great match, and she probably played just as well as she did in the Eastbourne, honestly, if not better, and I'm not lying to you when I say that this is probably one of the best matches that we'll see this year. It was just outstanding tennis from the both of them, especially towards the end of that first set, and then in the second set and then early stages of the third set. Just unbelievable tennis. The rallies we saw, the athleticism from Coco, and the ball striking from Kenin. It was just I was literally in the Tennis Channel control room just clapping and just giving both these players their flowers and tens, because it was great tennis. I haven't seen Kenin play that well. I know she beat Sabalenka earlier this year in Rome. She played good there. And I do want to mention that probably that Sabalenka win gave her a little bit more confidence to where she could get this victory over Coco today. But this is probably the best that I've seen Kenin play since 2020, since she won that Grand Slam and when she made the French Open final. That's how well she played. And I've been waiting for her to have her resurgence for a long, long time. Even I was beginning to doubt that whether she would even return to her form, whether it would just be a fluke, but it looks like she's back. Now, I'm not going to delve in and be like, oh, Sofia Kenin is back. I have to wait, because, she's prone to having a good win or so and then completely flopping the next round. And then we also have to mention that she has a bit of a tricky opponent next with Chinese woman Qiyu Wang, who is a talented player. Kenin's section of the draw is a little bit tough too, as she could play Elisa Mertens or Elina Svitolina in that third round if she happens to get by Wang. But just focusing on the play today, I'm just very happy. I am a Kenin fan, so I am happy and proud of just what she showed out there. Just incredible fight, fortitude that we've been accustomed to from her in her, heightened years. So great to see her back. Now, focusing on Coco, obviously I am very disappointed as a Coco fan. Coco is my cousin. Not really, but I call her my cousin because I just love her and I'm rooting for her so much. But she will not maximize her potential. She will not get that slam title that she wants. She will not achieve that world #1 ranking if she does not dedicate time and fix that forehand completely. It was better, like I said, it was better, but literally every time Kenin pounded that forehand and went to it consistently, I cringed because I just knew an error, either a shank or forehand in the net was coming from Coco. We've been saying this for a long time, but I actually do think that Coco needs to take some time off from the tour and just dedicate months just on that forehand, working on it and tinkering it out, because I don't know if it's necessarily a grip change that needs to come or what, but something has got to give, because she is not progressing. She simply is not progressing where she needs to be with this forehand being an issue. A lot of times she gets away with just chicken winging it in, as I call it, or just pushing it in. She's able to beat, weaker players, but now she can't even get away with that. She has to commit to really going after that shot and hitting through the shot like Iga Swiatek does. I say preferably she needs to do this after the US Open and just not play at all until the beginning of next year, 2024, to really get this thing in order. There is a silver lining though in all of this. First, of course, Coco only being 19 years old, but also the fact that she doesn't have a whole lot of points to defend for the remainder of the year. She did make the US Open quarterfinals, and the quarterfinals I think in Toronto as well, or Montreal as well. So those are pretty much the only big points that she has to defend. So Really, I just want her to take some time off and use this as a motivating factor to really change something, because something has to change. I know she did hire a new coach, Pierre Riba, I believe is his name. Maybe that whole partnership will take its time to kind of, flourish. I also want to mention, one of my Twitter friends, Pat, mentioned how the last time she was bounced on the first day of a slam at the 2022 Australian Open, she made the finals of the very next slam. So Coco Gauff, US Open 2023 finalist, I take it. Still though, of course, giving full credit to Kenin for coming out and perhaps finally having that long-awaited breakthrough that'll catapult her back to her former heights. Now, another top black player bit the dust as, once again, Felix Auger-Aliassime was the biggest men's seed to fall in the opening round so far, the 11th seed being knocked out by American Michael Mmoh in 4 sets. Mmoh was actually ranked 119th in the world, and he got entry into the main draw as a lucky loser, but he took advantage of Felix's lack of match play and overall fitness and health. Auger-Aliassime didn't play any grass court matches leading into this Grand Slam as he was nursing a knee injury, which clearly impacted him today. He was also dealing with physical issues at Roland Garros, where he lost in the opening round there too. I'ma honestly need Felix to take a page out of Nick Kyrgios's book and withdraw from the slams if he's not 100%. He's lost round 1 of the past few Grand Slams, and all for what? For, that first round check? It's not worth it, Felix. Take some time off and get better. Come back for the US Open and get fully healthy and finish out this season like how you ended it last season. There is still hope for you, Felix, but you need to come back when you're fully healthy now. We cannot keep having these first round exits because it's not looking good for our brand. Now, Mmoh and Alicia Parks are the only blacks making us relatively happy on today, as Parks picked up her first win in a major in singles, beating Annalena Friedsam in straight sets. Parks actually has a very good opportunity to make the second week here at Wimbledon, as the 2 seeds in her tiny little section, Qinwen Zheng and Ludmila Samsonova, fell early. American Jessica Pegula is still alive there too, fighting off a strong push from compatriot Lauren Davis. Meanwhile, title favorites Iga Swiatek and Novak Djokovic cruised through their opening round matches. Iga took down Lin Ju in an impressive 6-1, 6-3 win. She now gets Spain's Sara Sorribes Tormo in round 2. Djokovic, meanwhile, pulled double duty, first helping the groundsman dry off the courts after claiming the first set over Pedro Cachin. The Argentinian pushed the 4-time defending champion towards the end before Nole won 6-3, 6-3, 7-6. Novak now faces Jordan Thompson, who pulled off a comeback win over American Brandon Nakashima. Aside from Felix and Coco, there weren't really any other huge upsets on the first day of play. 4th seed Casper Ruud was pushed to 4 sets by qualifier Laurent Locoli, while Sinner, Rublev, Musetti, and Hurkacz cruised in straights. Play was suspended due to darkness at a point where seeds Borna Coric, Taylor Fritz, and Denis Shapovalov were in a bit of trouble. On the women's side, Caroline Garcia advanced, setting up a clash with 2021 US Open finalist Leylah Fernandez. Danielle Collins was up a set in her opening match before play was suspended. If she wins, she'll meet 14th seed Belinda Bencic, who won her first tour match since April with a win over Katie Swan. Sloane Stephens, Donna Vekic, and Annette Kontaveit are some other stars who did not take the court due to the darkness. Looking ahead to day 2, defending champion Elena Rybakina opens play on center court, while Aryna Sabalenka ends proceedings there. Andy Murray is also on center court, while top seed Carlos Alcaraz begins his campaign on court 1. Jabeur and Neuer also join Carlitos in the court 1 spotlight, but I honestly think the best ticket would be for court 2, where there's the Tsitsipas team match, and then Czechs, Kvitova, and Krejcikova take the court 2. And then Daniil Medvedev will close things out there, meeting British wildcard Arthur Ferry. Other top players taking the court on day 2 include Holger Rune, Frances Tiafoe, Karolina Muchova, Maria Sakkari, and Madison Keys. That's all for my day 1 Wimbledon recap, and let me know in the comments your thoughts on Venus's fall and loss, and then Coco and Felix's exits, plus any other action. Also, make sure you subscribe and click the notification bell so you're notified whenever I post my day 2 recap. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time here on Grand Slam Tennis News Today.